Yo, man. You know what this is, man. It's CTB. It's Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Say what up to him, man.
What's up, everybody? Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, comment. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing.
That's a fact, most definitely. This is the place where the fight fans come to get these delicious entrees of boxing knowledge. And what's on the menu for them today, bro?
A lot of people been critiquing the fight with Mayweather and Logan Paul. So let's talk about Mayweather power and should we criticize him for not stopping Logan Paul?
Let's do it, man. I think we should make this one of our normal segments, man. This should be a real shit and bullshit segment. It just hit my mind to do this right here. We'll make this a real shit bullshit segment.
Let's go for it.
Let's go for it, man. You want to start with the undercards first, or you want to start from the top to what you went to the bottom?
Let's start with the top. Since everybody want to talk about Mayweather and Logan Paul, and then we'll talk about the other fights just a little bit briefly.
Cool. Let's do that. I like that idea. All right, man. It's fat the cap, man. Real shit or bullshit. Mayweather's power is legit, man. Mayweather knocking out dudes 200 pounds, man. He got that one-headed quarter. Holding dudes up with one, you know what I mean? After catching them with one shot. You calling that real shit or bullshit, man?
I'm gonna call it bullshit. I mean, I seen the video everybody is going around, and he caught him with a good shot, and I think it could have buzzed him a little bit. I don't think it knocked him out. I think he was more exhausted. But I mean, what can you expect from a guy that's pretty much 150 pounds? I think Logan Paul weighed in at 189, and I could tell from the fight when he came in that night, he was a lot more cut and lean. And when he weighed in at 189, so if I had to guess, he was probably about right at 200 pounds when he actually fought Mayweather. So he had about 45, 50 pounds that night, and he was 6'3". So, I mean, a lot of people want to critique the performance, and like I said, I wasn't a fan of the whole idea of the fight anyway, but I kind of expected Mayweather to stop him not on power, but just on accumulation of punches, and then by the guy being fatigued, he would eventually, hands would drop and then getting beat up, and almost similar to what happened with McGregor. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, man, I'm also called bullshit on this one. Mayweather has not knocked nobody out with one punch since 1990 something, man. 1998, unless you want to count Victor Ortiz, but that was really a two-piece, and he kind of caught Victor Ortiz not looking. So that would, if you want to count that one, then you can count that one. But Victor Ortiz weighed in at what? Probably 160, 170 at the most in that fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was the last one. And I think the only knockout he done had at 147 was, if you want to count that one, is I think Hatton. That might have been at 147. That's it.
It was an accumulation of punching. So you only really have two knockouts at 147. He walks around at 150, 155. So I'm gonna call cap on that one too, man. I'm gonna call that's false. There's no way in hell he even dazed or buzzed Logan Paul. I don't think so anyway. I think they caught Logan Paul, meaning it's a sharp punch, so it probably hurt him, of course. I ain't say he didn't hurt the man, but as far as like knocking him out or knocking him, having days, holding him up and all that stuff, I think it's just Mayweather's fans trying to cling on to what Mayweather used to be, and you know what I mean, just trying to lean on what the Mayweather what's the word I'm looking for? The legend, the Mayweather legend. Yeah, trying to hold on to the legend of Mayweather and give him more props than what he deserved. All right, man. Fact the cap. Mayweather can box against the current welterweights of today and look pretty good. You calling fact the cap? Real shit or bullshit?
That's some bullshit. That's a hell no. And the crazy thing about that is, if you ask Mayweather, he'll say it's bullshit too. Because Mayweather, you can say what you want to say about Mayweather, but Mayweather is smart. He always is very calculated when he picks his opponents as far as his career, as far as the best way to go to get the most money. And he realized, I think, after that Berto fight, and even more with the McGregor fight, he said, yeah, I'm done. Like, I can't keep it with these young boys no more. So he gracefully bowed out, and he's been fighting the entertainers and YouTubes and kickboxers and making another $200 million in those three fights combined, which I can't blame him, which we talked about in the previous video. But yeah, I think it's bullshit for him to come back. I hope he don't be foolish enough to come back. I don't think he will. But yeah, if you saw the fight that night, you could tell, like I said, Mayweather didn't look I will say, like you said, he didn't really train for this fight, so people were saying he didn't look like his normal self. He looked a little thicker. Like I said, I think he probably put about 2 weeks in of training. He might have cut down about 8-10 pounds before the fight, but you could tell he won't in top shape. But other than that, one thing I call his reflexes is slowing down a little bit because he got caught a couple times by Paul that I wouldn't think he got caught by a YouTuber. Even though Paul is taking the sport very seriously and he has he's taking very seriously, and he's been doing it for 2 years now. So he didn't just pick it up 2 months ago and try to fight. I still think for a guy of Mayweather level, he should have got touched the couple of times he got touched by Logan. So that to me lets me know when some reflexes start going, you can look at a guy even like Roy Jones, and you saw what happened in the back end of his career. So I hope that he's not crazy enough to jump in with anybody at 147, even a contender at 147. I wouldn't want to see Mayweather fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna call real shit with that one too. I bullshit with it. I don't see him competing with nobody, no top, especially no top welterweight.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really feed into this fight as much as you do. I don't really feed into the Logan Paul fight as much because one, the guy was 50 pounds bigger than Mayweather, so that's gotta count for something. The guy was hugging and leaning on Mayweather a lot after the third round, pretty much. He was pretty much leaning it. He was holding so much that he literally would throw one punch and then go to grab Mayweather. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the reasons why Mayweather didn't look like his normal self was that factor. Two, Logan Paul is like what 6'1", 6'2", so he's by far the tallest opponent that Mayweather fought. And I think the height and the range and the reach gave Mayweather a lot of problems. I think they would have gave just the size advantage alone, the height and size advantage alone to Logan Paul would have gave Mayweather's issues in his prime, I feel. Just because of the size itself. While the prime Mayweather would have broken him up, he would have broken down. Don't get me wrong. He would have probably knocked him down and stopped him. But I think early in the fight, between the first and the second round, the size would have gave Floyd problems. Especially the 50 pound difference. That would have gave Floyd issues. So I don't read into it. And like you said, he didn't really train. He didn't even look like he trained. He kind of looked like he just pretty much ran a couple miles for 1 week, did a couple of sit-ups another week, and then came in the fight and like, yeah, I'm ready. There's also rumors that Floyd hands are so bad now he can't sign autographs like he used to, and he can't open bottles and all that. I don't know how true that is. That's just a rumor. But his hands are reported to be shot. So I don't really see him trying to come back to fight at welterweight now. But can he give some of them a run for his money? I'm gonna say yeah, he probably could. I mean, not the top, not the Crawfords or the Spencers, or you know what I'm saying, the Pacquiao's now probably give Pacquiao Mayweather some trouble. But what do I see him giving like a Keith Thurman some issues? I can see him give Keith Thurman some issues. Do I see him giving like the Adrian Broner some issues? I see him giving Adrian Broner some issues.
Yeah, I still think he can beat Adrian Broner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, if he was serious about it and actually can get in shape and make 147, then I see him giving them fighters some issues. But it's hard to tell. I wouldn't use the Logan Paul as a measuring stick for that. All right, man. Let's break down the undercard, man. Let's get to the other parts. They pretty much stole the show for real. Was the undercard, the co-main event of Hurd and Aries. I can never pronounce his name.
The co was Jack. Jack was
Jack. Yeah. Well, I kind of forget about that fight because the guy was a late replacement. So I really don't count that as the co-main because the guy who was supposed to have been Pascal, the drug cheat guy, but he got caught with 4 different steroids in his system.
Take the test.
Let's take the test, man. It was just saying back then with Bernard. Fans don't know about that part, but
yeah, probably too young for that. Maybe.
But yeah, so I'm gonna call my co-main was really the co-main to me was the Chad Johnson joint. That was the fight that I was looking most forward to that I said in the previous video. So we start with that one first then. How would you grade Chad Johnson, man? And Fat the Cap, real shit or bullshit? Do you think he has a career in boxing?
I'm gonna go with it's some real shit, man, because he looked good, man. I mean, really, Chad Johnson, people talk about it, and I see people say, oh, he got knocked down, but anybody that knows how to score a fight, the first, second, and third round, he won the rounds. He had the jab, he was winning the rounds, he was moving, and he got knocked down the last round, so that's a 10-8 round, so really, he still won 3-2. I mean, if you go by the point system. So, to me, he won the fight. To me, for a guy that don't box and haven't picked the time in like that, other than the workout, and to see how fluid he was, to see how fast he was. I mean, he was fast. I mean, that jab, he threw a little a looping hook and caught the dude right on the chin. and he was popping it out there. He was moving his feet good. You know, of course, defensively, if you're not used to fighting in a boxing match, if a guy throws, punches, you get a little sloppy, and you start, your fundamentals and technique will fall apart because you're not used to being in that foul zone. So I expected that from him because that's something you got to get used to. There ain't nothing you just pick up because in your reflexes, you're gonna respond like you're in a street fight if you used to fight. So I looked at that, but I really would like to see him fight again, man. I would like to see him maybe about the same type of competition, give him a little bit more time to work on his craft, because I really think he can be with the way he entertain people and the way he is with fans and how he can talk, put that with his actual skills in the ring. I think he can make pretty good money because I think people would want to see Chad Johnson again. Now the last round, I think he got a little too comfortable. He stayed in the pocket a little too long and tried to exchange with the guy. He got caught right on the chin. He went down, and that was funny, whatever. But he got back up, and you could tell he was still hurt, but he finished the fight and got out of there, man. So I was impressed with him. The other guy, I don't know what he was talking about. He was saying people gonna remember my name, and you know my name now, and I don't know. I'm about to ask, what is his name? I forgot what his name is. Do you know his name?
I forgot his name.
You don't remember it, right? But yeah, at the end of the fight, he called his name and said, y'all know my name now. I don't understand what that was. But anyway, that's what I got from it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the remember your name part, but I don't agree with the career in boxing. I think Chad Johnson already 45, 46 years old, somewhere up there. And I mean, you can tell he had some form of training. You can tell he was in a legit boxing camp. He was training with Charlo and was it Derek James? Or was it
Derek James?
Yeah, he was training with Charlo and Derek James. So you can tell he was taught how to throw a jab. You can tell he was taught how to throw a hook, somewhat in some degree. But yeah, look at the weight class he be fighting at. I don't see Chad Johnson giving no heavyweight no issue. You understand what I'm saying?
When I say fighting, I ain't talking about fighting no real fighters. I'm talking about fighting / athletes, being kind of, somebody that might have a little martial arts background but haven't really fought like the guy he fought. Now, you say like a real heavyweight that's actually been a boxer or been his past or something. No, but I'm talking about if you want to fight another athlete or another football player or something, I think he can hold his own.
So you're saying he can pretty much do like a Logan Paul / Jake Paul type career, pretty much
kind of career, something like that. Maybe not quite as good as them because, like I say, I think Jake Paul is pretty good. But I think he can do what they do. He can fight like / entertainers, YouTubers, / pad martial arts like the guy he fought. I think the guy he fought had like 2 or 3 fights in his career or something. So he had a little martial art.
He was like a bare knuckle. He had 2 professional fights, I think. But I think I heard him say that he was a bare knuckle fighter or some shit like that.
He was a bare knuckle fighter. So I mean, he had a lot more experience than Chad Johnson. But pick Chad Johnson there with somebody that's on the same playing field as him, another football player to say he can box too, or another basketball player and say they got a background. I would love to see him fight there. Now, like you said, as far as actual professional fighters that have fought in their past and maybe past their past, I don't want to see that. He's not ready for that. But if he gonna fight other athletes, I would love to see that.
You know, I would love to see him fight. I would love to see him fight cornerbacks or something like that. Like I would love to see him cornerbacks. Like if you want to make a career out of boxing or like the spectacle of boxing, I want to see him fight like a Darrell Reeves or like a.
That would be interesting.
It'd be funny and they'd be kind of on the same level. They both coming from the same football background and they got somewhat, not even say beef, but they get jaw back and forth. You know what I'm saying? They both can talk, whatever. I would rather see him do that than have a legit boxing career. Yeah. Even find somebody who's trained to fight. I don't want to see him get that again because I think he can wind up getting hurt.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. Like, I know they were saying something about Kendall Gill, but no, he don't need to fight Kendall Gill.
Yeah, he don't need to fight Kendall Gill. I think Kendall Gill got a little bit of training with him too.
Yeah, he don't want to do that.
Yeah, he don't want to do that. So, I didn't even think somebody else called him out too. Another professional fighter called him out. I think it was like a Big Baby Davis or somebody like that. No, he called out Brandon Marshall. That's what it was. Brandon Marshall. Yeah, Brandon Marshall got called out by Big Baby Miller. I saw that earlier yesterday. I thought it was stupid.
No, come on, man. Big Baby Miller is a real heavyweight fighter. Come on, man. But I do want to see Brandon Marshall fight because people saying that he got pretty decent hands too. But of course, he's been calling out Wilder in the past and stuff like that. But I do want to see him fight because he's been running his mouth a lot too. So I want to see what he got.
Yeah, there'll be another video. One day we'll talk about that and make a video about these NFL players not trying to go into the sport of boxing. Well, we had to talk briefly, really quick about the Hurd fight, man. The Hurd fight. Hurd is ready for 160 pounders. Is that real shit or bullshit?
That's some bullshit. Hurd, his defensive responsibility is horrible. He cannot fight at 160. The guys hit too hard. Because what I see from Hurd is Hurd don't listen. The guy in his corner, I don't know who it was. I think it was Cunningham, but I'm not sure. They was telling him to stop being so stationary and use his jab and use his length, and he wouldn't do it. He just sat on the ropes, trying to do the Mayweather, was he's not athletic enough to do, even though he's tall and rangy. And the guy just do it a looping right over top of the shoulder, and just kept catching him with it the whole fight. And he never adjusted. And his plan was to pretty much what he always does: beat on me, go ahead, beat on me for 4 or 5 rounds, get tired, and then I'm gonna turn it on the back half of the fight and start accumulating punches on you. You already tired from beating on me like a punching bag, and then I'm gonna stop you in the 8th, 9th, 10th round. And then it looked like it was going that way for a second, but then the old boy, he caught a second win and was able to turn it back on, because I really thought Hurd was gonna stop him around like the 7th, 8th round, but he turned it back on and he put him with the same shot all night, man. I'm disappointed in Hurd, man. I really thought this was a nice touch-up fight to get him some confidence, to get him back going, and to maybe get him that fight with Charlo at 154, because it is 2 good names, after he's undisputed. But at this point, man, I really don't know where Hurd can go with his career, because at 160, I don't think it's wise for him to do, and at 154, after losing this fight, I don't know where he goes at 154.
If you ask my opinion, it's also probably another video to make. But if you ask my opinion, I think he was set up, kind of. I think Hurd was actually set up. Because if you seen pictures of Hurd earlier this year and parts of last year, he was every bit of walking around like 230, 245. He was fat, bro. Mm-hmm. So to come off that much weight, off of this much like inactivity, and put him in there with the Ari, I can never pronounce his name. I think it's Aries or Aries. I can never pronounce it.
Yeah, something. I ain't want to mess it up, but yeah.
I'm sorry if I messed his name up. But to put him in with there, I think the money team set him up. I think TMT was trying to get Aries a name on his resume. I think Hurd was a name on his resume. Now Aries is in the mix with a Charlo. Now he can get a Charlo fight, or he can get another big fight. He can get a Rosario fight or something like that, because he beat Hurd.
Excuse me. Oh, because he did say after the fight that he was going back to 154 also. And he already said he'll do a rematch with Charlo. So, like he said, if he gets a big fight with not with Charlo, with Hurd. But if he gets a big fight with Charlo, that would be good money for him. But even if he get a rematch with Hurd, let's say on the undercard of a future tank fight on a pay-per-view event or something, and and it's them two fight again, because it was an entertaining fight, he could get a nice paycheck. So they did set him up for a nice future payout and a nice future big semi-big fight.
That's my point. That's the point I was getting at. Because the guy been lurking for a while. I don't know if people know how long Aries been in the background, but he's been with the money team. He signed with, I think, with the Zone at one point. He's been lurking in the background for a while, just waiting for a big name to take his fight. And Hurd just happened to be that big name that took it off a long layoff. I think they thought he was going to be food. I think Hurd's team thought he was going to be food and thought he was going to make the case for a Charlo fight, because he was calling out Charlo before the fight and saying that Charlo was the only man he hasn't fought and he would beat Charlo and all that. I think that fight not only proved that he would never beat Charlo, I think that fight also proved that he would get stopped by Charlo. I'm being honest. Charlo hits too hard, bro. They be taking them shots from him. And Charlo's a killer. Like, he would go in there looking to hurt. I would call the second round stoppage if they actually did fight.
Ooh.
I think he would knock out. I would think he would knock out Hurd early. That Hurd that we saw this past weekend, he would knock Hurd out early, bro. I just feel that way, because he couldn't get away from nothing. That jab wasn't gonna work on Charlo like that. Go ahead.
Do you take the excuse of him saying that the wet ring messed him up as far as him not being able to move around the ring and box?
No, I don't, because they had the same ring. Everybody who fought that night had the same ring to fight in. Before you had Sean Johnson and that guy who never boxed before in the ring. He looked pretty decent for his first boxing match. So for him to fight in that same ring and not come up with that excuse about the ring being wet, to me, it's just an excuse. If he would have said an excuse, in my opinion, it would have been that my camp was too long. I had to lose too much weight, because that slowed him down. Or he could have said that I should have took a better fight for my first fight back in the ring. I would have rather him tell the truth and use that as an excuse, because that really is the truth. He was out of shape just like 6 months ago. When you first started talking about him a few months ago, he was like, damn, Charles, I heard is fucking fat, yo. We were saying that. I remember we were saying that he's in camp, but now he's fighting with Crawford in Crawford camp, but he's fat as shit. So I'd rather him, you would have said that. But yeah, man, you got anything else you want to add to these videos of real shit and bullshit, man?
No, I think we covered it all.
There you go. That's our recap of this past weekend's fights. Will be enjoyed. Again, it's your favorite channel, man. It's CTB. It's Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Cut him out of here, man.
All right, everybody. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel growing. Logo at the bottom of the screen. Just click on and subscribe for us. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing. But most of all, God, peace, and love. And we out of here.